This summer, the Land Rover Defender 90 finally went on sale, and I totally dig the little two-door, and I'd definitely buy it over its larger brethren. But that got me thinking, how little could I spend on a Defender? And conversely, how much? Turns out there is a huge discrepancy in possible prices that belies the difference in their capabilities. The cheapest Defender I can get is a no-options 90, which comes in at $47,450, including $1,350 for destination. Meanwhile, the fully spec'd, and I'm talking fully spec'd with the most expensive options possible, that Defender 110 is, get this, $105,725, including destination. So let's break that down and see what you get for those extra dollars. All right, so what's on the base Defender 90? Well, there's quite a lot, actually. Full-time four-wheel drive, a 2-speed transfer case, coil suspension, and a terrain management system. Meanwhile, the Defender 110 swaps the coils for air suspension and adds adaptive suspension, a brake-based active differential, which functions a little bit like a traditional locker, and a more robust terrain management system, which includes a configurable mode to really dial in your settings. The Spendy 110 in our example here also has all-terrain progress control, which is kind of an off-road slow-speed cruise control. As for technology, both low and high-priced Defenders come with niceties such as blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assist, traffic sign recognition, and a wade sensor. In fact, the only extra perk you'll get with my pricey 110 is adaptive cruise control. What you're really paying for here is features. In the configurator, I loaded up the 110 with a nearly $5,000 clear wrap to protect the paint, 22-inch wheels, heated everything, protection everything, climatized to the hilt with an air purifier. Outside are things like orange recovery hooks, a gloss black hood, LED lighting, front fog lights, and a whole lot of chrome. Moving inside, the 110 ups the luxury with all kinds of leather, a rear camera mirror, and an electrically adjustable steering wheel. I know, pretty luxurious, right? So what's the same? Well, both get wireless charging, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and a 10-inch touchscreen. But the pricey Defender gets a large 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. The base Defender 90 makes do with analog dials. But the Defender is all about capability, right? I mean, this is the UK's answer to our Jeep. So what's the difference between the base model and that most spendy? Well, first off, the 90's got less power. Under the hood is a 2-liter twin-turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, good for 296 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, and that's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. While you can get that same powertrain in the 110, my loaded-up example has the 3-liter mild hybrid 6-cylinder engine, pushing out 395 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque, and that's mated to that same 8-speed auto. So what do you actually get with those engines? Well, the 2-liter in the 90 goes from 0 to 60 in 7.6 seconds, while the 3-liter does it in 5.8 seconds. Both have a top speed of 119 miles per hour and will return an EPA estimated 19 miles per gallon combined. Now, obviously, you get more Defender with the Defender 110. Back in the day, the number 90 or 110 referred to the Defender's wheelbase, but that's not quite the case anymore. The 90 has got a wheelbase of 101.9 inches, while the 110 is at 118.9 inches. Overall, the 90 is 180.4 inches long, and that includes the spare tire. The 110 goes to 197.6 inches. Width of both is the same, and the height difference is so small as to be negligible. Now, of course, that translates to less cargo space in the 90, which has 15.6 cubic feet of space behind the second row, while the 110 has more than double at 34 cubes. Fold the second row seats down and the 90 can haul 58.3 cubic feet of cargo, the 110 78.8 cubic feet. And that smaller size of the 90 translates to less weight as well. The Defender 90 is 4,550 pounds, and the 110 is 700 pounds or so porkier at 5,260 pounds. The smaller Defender can tow 7,716 pounds, the larger one a little bit more at 8,201 pounds. But if you're going to get a Defender, you're going to have to use it in the dirt, and here is where we see the biggest differences. The least expensive 90 has a static coil spring suspension, while the 110 has an air suspension that can raise the car for more ground clearance and better angles. The 90 has 8.9 inches of ground clearance, while the 110 in off-road mode is up to 11.5 inches. The 90 has an approach angle of 31.5 degrees, while the 110 goes big with 38 degrees. Departure angle for the Defender 90 is a respectable 35.5 degrees, but the 110 blows it away with 40 degrees. As for breakover angle, the 90 is at 25.5 degrees. The 110, even with its longer wheelbase, is at 28 degrees. The Defender 90 on coils can wade 33.4 inches of water. The 110 on air can ford 35.4 inches. Now, anecdotally, I've seen Land Rover air suspension fail on the trail more than once, and I trust a mechanical setup more than electronics, but those numbers don't lie. That air suspension gives you much better capability. Now, did I make some wacky choices to get to that $105,000 price point? I mean, sure. Nobody is going to option a fabric folding roof and a roof rack. In fact, I loaded my Defender 110 up with nearly $9,000 worth of options, and I think only about 2,600 of them are worth it. My perfect Defender 110 comes in at right around $60,000, though I prefer the smaller 90 with the coil suspension for right around $56,000. Moral of the story here, the most expensive is not always the best. Don't get suckered into thinking you need every option on the planet. In some cases, less really is more. All right, so which way are you going? Coil springs on the 90 or the big boy 110 with the air suspension? Let me know in the comments, and as always, be sure to like and subscribe right here on Roadshow.